All right, so I bought this pressure washer about 3 months ago, and it started leaking out of the pump, the water pump seal. And so I decided to take it apart and fix it because the warranty turned out to be a joke. They didn't really want to honor any of it and just kind of blame me. So here I am, just gonna fix it myself. So it was leaking, just so we can start from the beginning and kind of highlight some errors. So this is the pump. This side here that you're looking at is what mates to the motor. And it was leaking from right inside there, okay? And the first thing you come to is this seal, okay? This is the way it sits. This side faces the motor, this side goes into the pump. And you can see right there where it is missing a piece of seal. Now you're probably saying, why would it do that? That is a pretty large chunk that it is totally missing. It blew out completely. Well, we're gonna get to that here. So this obviously goes in the bottom there. And then there is this bearing race, okay? This bearing race sits right on there. It's grooved. It goes right over top of this, okay? And then you have this. This is called a wobble plate. This is what connects to the PTO that comes out of the engine, okay? And as this spins around, because it's not flat, as it moves around, it pushes on these pistons here that then pressurize the water, okay? So this wobble plate pushes on those pistons with this plate, rests right on top of there. We see it has these bearings, okay, open bearings in a cage, right? Obviously, well, we have a race, we have the bearings, and then another race here. But then we have a race on the back side, and we have a race here, but we have no bearings, okay? The reason there is so much metal, so it tells you right on this thing, it's upside down, use SAE 15W40. That's basically diesel oil, okay? The oil, and I'll put a picture of it, but it was this color. It looked horrible. It had rainbow stripes in it of gray and metal. And the reason it did that is because you have two races here and you have no bearings. So if we were to swap, which, I mean, obviously it would just move one problem area to another, to here, okay? Look, it fits like it's meant to be. And then the spacing is right and everything is as it should be. So the reason this thing failed was because there's no quality control at the factory that makes these pumps. They had these two races sitting right next to each other. So this spline that the engine hooks to went way farther out than it should, and it wasn't sealing on the right surface. And so you have all kinds of issues here. But the crux of the issue is, if you have a bearing race, you need a bearing, okay? So we have correctly identified the cause of that failure. Now I'm gonna try and, I have actually a breakdown of this pump, of the internals. It doesn't even give a part number for this. Nothing in here it has a part number for. It only has part numbers for the seals in here because that is typically the only thing that goes bad. I have changed fluid, not in this one, obviously. This one is non-serviceable unless you take it all the way apart. There are other pumps like this that have a drain plug, and those are the ones that I would recommend getting, because when they're like this, you can't necessarily tell that something's not as it should be until you go to do service. Luckily, for my case, this seal, luckily or unluckily, this seal blew out and started puking out this gross oil, which didn't make sense given the age, the newness of this pressure washer. So I'm gonna try and procure one of these. I don't think there's a part number for it, so I'm gonna have to do some digging. But if I can't, there is no point in even getting this seal. There's no part number for this, I know, but I can match this up at a parts house. That's no big deal. But if I can't get this, there's no point in putting it back together, even with new oil, because metal on metal is not good. We all know that. So Yet again, another quality control issue with these cheap pressure washer pumps. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully this doesn't happen to you, but if it does, look for this issue.